Did you inherit $1 million from your grandparent, or are you about to become wealthy from someone else's hard work? If you say yes to these questions, this show is not for you. You, the hardworking, committed, and ambitious professional who have a 9-to-5 corporate job or a 12-hour shift worker keeping the assembly line running. Perhaps you run your gig as a freelancer, or maybe you run a small business. You are in the right place. Welcome to the Career Evangelist Podcast, where you get your weekly tips, ideas, strategies, and inspiration to find purpose in what you do so you can build a career you are passionate about and live a fulfilled life. Here is your host, Bola.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Career Evangelist Podcast. My guest today is someone who knows how to turn a high-pressure job interview into a confident winning performance. Ramon Santillan is the founder of persuasively.com, where he coaches professionals to master the art of interviewing. Ramon has been featured as an interview expert by US News, World Report, CBS, Yahoo, Career Builder. Ramon is also a voracious reader. So today, Ramon joins us to share the secret behind persuasive interviews and how to transform job interview into job offers. Hey, Ramon, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bola. Thank you for having me.
All right. It's good to have you here. So I'll go straight into it. What inspired you to start persuasiveinterview.com?
For me, when I was in college, my background is in accounting, and I'm an introvert. And I noticed that when people go to interviews, they kind of just depend on what they've done before, like their grades, the classes, maybe work experience. For me, when I was applying for jobs at college at UT, University of Texas, in the accounting program, top ranked program in the country, the number one in the country, actually, very competitive. I didn't have those things. I didn't have the grades because I worked 2 jobs to pay for my college. I didn't have any related work experience because, I didn't know anyone in the field. I didn't have any connections. So I needed to make sure I was prepared for these interviews. So that's kind of what I did. I persuaded these people to hire me. How? By being better prepared than everyone else. And I didn't compete. It's a lot of times people think about that. Like they want to compete on grades, classes, projects, whatever. This isn't about competing, because if you compete, that means someone's going to lose, and it might be you. My approach has always been, let's outsmart everyone else. And no one's going to outsmart you if you take that approach. So that's how I started Persuasive Interview. I did it for myself, but then I helped friends, and then friends of friends, and then friends of friends, and then strangers, to the point about 13 years ago when I officially made it official, and I started working with executives. And a couple of years after that, I started working with students. So apply the same skills, same techniques that I would teach a CFO for their interview, apply them to college students, and that's worked very well. Again, a college student goes to an interview, but they don't act like college students; they act like professionals, and that makes them attractive to employers.
Oh, that's very good. So do you focus on any particular industry or maybe demographic that you can tell us about?
I don't do a specific industry. Again, when I started, my background was in accounting, so I focused on accountants, but I noticed that these techniques that I was showing people work for all kinds of industries, for sales, engineers, even artists, people who are want to work in politics. All these skills work for them. Throughout my path, through my career, what I found out is an industry that was underserved were people who are neurodivergent. So people who have ADHD, people who have a diagnosis of Asperger's, high functioning autism, those kinds of things. I did very well. Someone reached out and I helped him get an awesome job. His mom called me crying, thinking that he was going to get just some kind of a job, but he actually got a career. And she was telling me how, I gave her dreams that she didn't allow herself to have, of him, her not have to worry about what's going to happen to him when she's gone, how he's going to support himself. And the dreams that she never thought she could have, that, hey, maybe one day I'm going to have grandkids, because he can support a family now. He can get married. He can support a family. Uh, and she said, I never allowed myself to have that dream because I didn't want to not have it. But now that he has a job at a very good company, making very good money, that dream is a possibility. So I started focusing on people who are considered neurodivergent. And again, we had very, very good success with them, getting them the job, not a job. Anyone can get a job. In this country, everyone gets a job eventually. Is it the right one? Is it within your time span? That's a different story. But what I do is I help people get the job, specifically students. I work mostly with students, college educated students, to get them the job that they want in their career that pays them well, gives them the title that they need, trains them well, and again, leads them on a path to success.
So, Ramon, I like what you said about day job, not just a job. So, can you walk us through the process? How can a job candidate know the job, the right job for them?
I think it works. You know, I can walk through the process of what I do to help them get to the job. But I think the most important part that sometimes people miss is sitting down and thinking, what do you want to be in 15 years, 10 years, and 5 years? And it doesn't mean that you need to have that job in 15 years, that I'm going to hunt you down 15 years from now and say, hey, you said you wanted to do this. How come you're doing something else? No, it's like, let's dream. A lot of times students and even professionals, their mindset's not there because they're like, no, I need a job because I need to pay my mortgage, I need to pay my rents. Or students, they need to get a job to graduate. So they're like, whatever job works, that's fine, I'll take it. And I was like, okay, yes, maybe. But let's take a minute to dream about this. Like, where do you think you want to be? What's a job you thought would be very cool to have? But where do you see yourself in 15 years? You're 23 right now. 15 years, how old are you going to be? Okay, what do you expect yourself to be in 28 when you're 28? Or 38, I'm sorry. And we take the time to think about that and then work our way back. Okay, so in 15 years, you think you're going to be that. What about 10 years? What do you think you want to be there? And so, well, I guess I want to be this, live in this city or this part of the country, doing this job, getting paid this much, having this kind of car. Like, okay, that's fine. Let's work. How about 5 years? And so, well, I think I want to do this, this, and this. Okay, so what job do we need to get now to get you on the path for the 5-year job, the 10-year, and the 15? So we take that time to do that. Then we take time to actually start connecting with people who maybe have those jobs. A lot of times, again, with my clients, they're students, so they don't know what they don't know. They just say, well, I'm a computer science major, so I need to be a coder. Okay, that's not a bad thing, but let's see, what other things can coders do? Where can they work? Sometimes they find out that there are industries that never even considered or knew about because they just didn't know. So we take some time to do that. And then from there, we work hard on all of the things, creating a brand new resume from scratch, crafting something that tells them the story, developing their story, their what I call the interview team when they go to interviews and when they talk to people. Obviously, helping them practice their interview skills, conversation skills, really. Knowing how to apply to a job, how to make a custom resume for each application, how to connect with people. But I think the difference between what I do and maybe some other people do is that I don't just tell people what to do or how to do it. I tell them the why. And for my clients, that's very important because a lot of times they've been told, apply to a job, have a firm handshake, smile when you're interviewing. And they say, okay, I get it. Like, I know I'm supposed to do those things. And maybe they don't even know what a firm handshake looks like or feels like. But they say, well, I have to do a firm handshake, or I have to apply to 100 jobs. And I said, well, do you know why do you have to do this? And it's like, no, okay, this is the reason. And when I explain those reasons to them, they get it. All their lives, they've been playing this game where they didn't know the rules. Maybe the rest of us knew the rules, but they didn't. And when I explain to them the rules and the why, they say, oh, now I know. And I can see that, we do video calls with my clients. So I can see in their eyes, like their eyes change, like, wow, like now I know. And that's really the change. I think that's the difference between me and other coaches. There's not a lot of coaches in my specific niche. But I don't think they do what I do, or explain the why, not just the how and the when. It's a why.
So, Ramon, thank you for sharing that. One thing that I've seen that is prominent about you and what you do is that you help people to build confidence in the interview process. So I want to hear from you, how exactly can you help people build their confidence so that when they walk into that interview room, they'll feel comfortable and they'll feel pretty good about their chances of getting the job?
What I do is I help people really figure out what they have to offer. Because a lot of times, again, as job seekers, we feel we're looking for something like, I need a job. And I help my clients understand, like, yes, I understand you need a job to graduate, or you graduate already, you need a full-time job now. But this is an I. What does the other people need? What can you offer? So I always tell people to stop thinking about these interviews as interviews. What you're trying to do is have a conversation. Instead of you thinking, I need to go get a job, start thinking, I need to find people I can help. So you're offering something, and by default, that means you're valuable,
Yeah.
right? If you can offer something, that means you have something of value. So I always tell people, like, okay, let's think about what can you offer them. What are you looking for? Yes, of course, that's important. But most times, like I mentioned, most people don't even take that step to figure out what they want. They just say, I need a job. But let's figure out what you really want. Okay. Now, what can you offer to those companies? And it's find where the match is, because some companies might want what you have, but they don't, want what you have. Or, they have what you want, but you don't have what they want, and that's fine. You move forward. But there's some companies that want what you have, and they have what you want. So let's match up with those companies. So I always tell them, like, let's figure again. Think about this not as a job search, but we're looking for people to help. That's what we're searching for. People we can help. And then from there, we decide who we want to help. And that builds confidence. Obviously, that's part of the process of the exercise. And then actually going into the technical aspect of an interview, how do you create a custom-made resume, like I mentioned? How do you do research on the company, on the job, and on the people you're meeting, so that when you show up, it's not the first time. You already know a little bit about them, so it feels more comfortable. You know what questions you want to ask. That's very important. Most people don't think about the questions. They think of canned answers, canned questions. And you know this, like I think we all do, you'll get canned answers. So if you have good questions you really want an answer to, that's going to make the difference. That's going to make you stand out. And also how you present yourself. If you
Right.
present yourself like everyone else, you're not going to stand out. But if you present yourself as a professional, even when you're not one yet, people will notice that, especially at the college level. And that's what I teach my clients. And again, the success stories are there on my LinkedIn page and on my website.
No, that's very good. So, what's in your coaching experience, what do you think maybe is the biggest mistake that people make in a job interview?
I think the mistake I see most often is that, like, having a scarcity mindset that, well, I just need to get a job. And I've worked with clients before who are in special circumstances where they need to get a job just to get by. And I say, okay, that's fine. We can get there, but this isn't our end goal. Like,
Right.
we'll get you in a job that pays the bills for now, but on the condition that you and I keep on working on this till we get you the job. Um, so I've seen that before with clients, mostly professional clients. So those are the ones that usually have some kind of a responsibility they need to fulfill. But even with college students, they a lot of times say, well, I don't have any experience, so I'm not worthy. And that word bothers me because we all have worth. Like our jobs don't give us worth, right? Maybe it gives us a purpose, maybe it gives us something to do, but that's not where our worth is determined. And I always tell people, college students, like, I understand you don't have any work experience. Maybe you've never ever worked a job for whatever reason, and that's fine. Let's figure out what you can offer. There is something there. We just need to figure it out. So again, a lot of people they fail at their job search because they feel they're in a situation where they don't have anything to offer, and I think that's wrong. I think it's wrong. That's incorrect. It's not true.
Okay. So, based on what you know, there are job candidates out there preparing for an interview. What would you tell them? Maybe top two, three things that the hiring manager is wanting to know about them, maybe what they are listening for.
I would say that this is easy. Let's do research. So most people, when they prepare for an interview, they say, "Okay, I have an interview tomorrow. Let me prepare." And they say, "Okay, they're going to ask me, tell me about yourself." What am I going to say? I'm going to say I'm cool, I'm smart, and I'm very technical. Okay, good. Next question. What's your biggest weakness? My biggest weakness is I'm a workaholic. Okay, good. Interview comes, they say, I'm ready. I'm ready for this interview. The interview comes, and what happens? They get asked, tell me about yourself. I'm cool, smart, and very technical. Okay, what else? That's it. Okay, well, next question. What's your biggest weakness? I'm a workaholic. Can you provide an example? Okay, that's how most people prepare for an interview. For me, preparing an interview is the night before the interview it should be a relaxed night. It shouldn't even be time you spend really doing a lot of work. It's just kind of like, okay, let me make sure my suit's ready, make sure my notes are ready, but everything should be done. I start the preparation process by connecting with people at the company. So I have three levels of people I like my clients to connect with. There's a peer. So a peer is someone just like you, like the candidate, but maybe 3 to 5 months ahead of you. So maybe someone who also just got an internship there. They'll tell you more about the interview process, who they talked to, what kind of questions they asked, those kind of things. The second level, I would say, is future you. So future you is the candidate, except 3 to 5 years ahead. So someone who has a little bit more experience, who's been at the company, either there long-term or some other companies. And they'll tell you a little bit more about the actual work and a little bit more of what they're looking for. And the third person I recommend you talk to, and again, this is even before, sometimes even before applying, is the future boss. So future boss is the hiring manager. And that person always can tell you exactly what they're looking for, what kind of work they do there. And more importantly, they can make exceptions. So when most people apply to a job, whether through an online portal or even when they send out to a recruiter, they're not dealing with decision makers. They're dealing with gatekeepers. If a job description says you need 3 to 5 years of experience and you have 2 years and 11 months of experience, a gatekeeper, someone like a recruiter, will not let you through. And because 2 years and 11 months is less than 3 years, and they will not let you through. Or maybe you don't have the right major. A recruiter will not let you through. A hiring manager, on the other hand, that person, as long as you have the skills, maybe, yeah, you didn't know how to code or learn how to code in college, you learned it on your own, and you have the projects to back it up, a hiring manager can make that exception. They can say, well, I know we put that we need a computer science major here, and you have an accounting degree, but you show me the projects, and I've talked to you, so yeah, we'll interview you. I can make that exception. No one else can. I'm the hiring manager. I can say we will make an exception for you. So that's how I recommend people how to prepare for an interview. Prepare before you even have interviews. Do the research before anything happens.
Yeah, that's very good. Now, there are people out there, they've been interviewing for quite a while and they've been rejected on multiple occasions. So, what would you recommend to them in terms of how to handle being rejected?
I always ask people to ask for feedback. I know a lot of companies, for legal reasons, won't provide feedback. That's fine. I always tell my clients, let's ask for feedback. Let's see what they tell us. It might be right. It might be wrong what the feedback they give us. We don't know, right? But I tell them, this is a data point. Like, yeah, maybe they tell you that you spoke too fast. And I say, well, that's one data point. But if a second interviewer at a different company tells you the same thing, so, okay, well, maybe there's something in there. A third person, okay, definitely there's something there. Or that you mumble, or maybe your examples weren't good, that kind of stuff. Again, that's kind of why I ask for data points. So that's kind of what I recommend people do. Another thing I'd always tell them, again, this is all about the mentality, how you feel and how you think through this process. A no doesn't mean never. It just means not right now. Maybe you weren't ready. Maybe the interview just went bad. Maybe you don't have the right classes. Maybe you don't have the right experience. Or maybe there was someone really that was just better qualified for that job. That doesn't mean you can never apply there again. It's just not right now. It's happened to me. I've been in interviews where they send me an email to say, hey, thank you, but we want a different candidate. I asked for feedback. They gave me the feedback. I actually feel the feedback was wrong. But I responded, thanked them for the feedback. I didn't get defensive. I didn't do anything. So I said, thank you for the feedback. I'll take it in consideration. And I said, well, that's that one data point, right? If someone else told me the same thing, then I know maybe it was right. And a month later, they called me, invited me to lunch. And during the lunch, they said, we've made a big mistake. We actually like to make you an offer.
Oh,
And that's
wow.
when I realized it was like, it was not never, it was just not right now. And I realized, again, the second part of this is that I was a professional the whole way of the process, right? When they gave me the feedback, I didn't get defense like, no, I did say that, and you didn't say this, and oh, no, I said, thank you for the feedback. Let me process it, let me digest it, and figure out if it's true or not. And then me consider if I want to take that feedback from my interview. Uh, but when they got that, I think when they got that response, they realized, oh yeah, this guy's a professional. So we should consider him if something else happens. So it's not a complete no. And yeah, the proof is in the pudding. A month, exactly 30 days later, they called me, invited me to lunch, and they made me an offer
Oh,
on the
that
spot at the lunch. Again, because I asked for the feedback and I was a professional throughout the whole process. From the beginning, when I applied, my resume was custom made for that position. When I interviewed, I had good questions to ask. I knew who they were based on my research. Um, and even after when I got rejected, and they saw, well, this guy's a professional through and through. So maybe we should consider him when something comes up. And that's what they did.
that's very good. Thank you very much for your time here, Ramon. It's been so wonderful. So, finally, where can my listeners find you?
They could go to my website, persuasiveinterview.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/IN/interview coach.
That's awesome. Thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate your time, and it's been very, very beneficial to me. I've learned a lot from you, and I'm sure my listeners, they will find it highly beneficial and impactful as well. Have a good one, Ramon.
You too. Thank you, Bola.